Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Nightmare Sims Aries broadcast coming to you from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. We are going to flip over here real quick, and you can see practice is coming to an end here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., actually the fastest guy in practice, and we see a couple of names up to the front of this group that you're not used to really seeing up here, and we'll see how it plays out into qualifying and whatnot. For those that are wondering, two big names have missed the race after the qualifying race resulted in a shocking twist. Cody Ware picks up the Stage 1 win and got his automatic qualification into the race, making his first start of the season. Daniel Hemrick in the 77, which will be the first start for the 77 car of the year. He won the rest, or the second stage, aka the finish of the race, and that put in also behind him Suarez, Gilland, and Custer. So the top five there on that little scoreboard behind myself, which I obviously do not race in this, that's the guys that qualified their way in. So we will now pull up this, and we'll actually go, because we have new cams for you. As we have the roof cams. Very excited about this. We've actually got some of my favorite cams here. So, excuse me. Just try to get everything put into place. There we go. So, riding along with Ross Chastain for his one lap of qualifying. This will prove to be an interesting venture for everybody involved, and we'll see how this goes along. And of course, we will try and give you guys kind of the rundown of who's in what car during our grid lineup. But it does look like, and so far, Tony Kanaan has not completed his lap as he crosses the line, as does Landon Castle, and they both are extra slow, run at the back. But Tyler Reddick in the Gatorade 48 qualifies on pole, ladies and gentlemen. So Tyler Reddick to the pole in today's race. Tyler Reddick will lead the field to the green in the number 48 Gatorade Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, alongside Austin Cindric in the Blue Deuce, which is actually the White Deuce for Team Penske, Ford. Bubba Wallace for 23XI will start in third, and Kurt Busch for Hendrick Motorsports in fourth. Row 3 sees Austin Dillon's RCR machine and Brad Keselowski's car for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. Row 4 is Denny Hamlin in 23XI and Daniel Suarez for RCR. Row 5 is Alex Bowman for Stewart Haas Racing and Kyle Larson for Joe Gibbs Racing. Row 6 sees Chase Elliott for Hendrick Motorsports and Kevin Harvick for Joe Gibbs Racing. Row 7 sees Marco Andretti driving for Nightmare Motorsports and Eric Almirola for Joe Gibbs Racing. Row 8, we see Daniel Hemrick for Spire Motorsports and Kyle Busch for Team Penske. In row 9 is Ross Chastain driving for Team Penske and Cole Custer for Trackhouse. Row 10 is Joey Logano for Trackhouse and Ty Gibbs for Joe Gibbs Racing. Chase Briscoe in the number 17 drives for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. He starts on the inside of row 11. And on the outside of row 11 is William Byron in the Petty GMS entry, number 43 car. In row 12, we see Ty Dillon driving the number 41 for Stewart Haas Racing, and Danny Kvyat driving the number 91 for Trackhouse. Row 13 sees Corey LaJoie in the second Spire Motorsports car, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 42 for Petty GMS. Row 14 is Ryan Truex in the Junior Motorsports entry, and Eric Jones driving for JTG Doherty Racing. In row 15, we see Martin Truex Jr. also driving for Junior Motorsports, and Justin Haley driving for Kaluk. Elio Castroneves driving for Chip Ganassi Racing in the 0, and Harrison Burton driving for the famous Wood Brothers in row 16. Row 17 is Michael McDowell for 23XI, and Kaz Gralla for Kalug Racing. Row 18 sees Todd Gilliland and Front Row Racing, or Front Row Motorsports, and Cody Ware for Rick Ware Racing. Row 19 sees Ryan Preece for Rick Ware Racing and BJ McLeod for Live Fast Racing. And row 20, rounding out the grid, is Landon Castle for Front Row Motorsports and Tony Kanai for Chip Ganassi Racing. We'll come over here and we'll hit the grid start button and we'll get this race underway. As I try and 80 and 165. So the stages today are 80 and 165. So we are now rolling on pace laps. We're going to come around and hopefully take the green flag and have a wonderful race here today. We've had a couple back-to-back with a lot of wrecks going on, and we're hoping to see a lot more cars finish today. Testing has shown very well for the Cup cars here, and so far I haven't seen too many wrecks. Things obviously can change, and we'll have to wait and see how this race is going to play out. But certainly going to be an interesting one, a lot to play with, and plenty of room here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So 267 laps here today, but we are going to give you every lap of this race, no commercial coverage, much better than you'll get on any type of TV provider. None of them are going to give you no commercial coverage, so we are now going to take the green flag here at Las Vegas. Tyler Reddick diving down into turn 1. He's going to try and hold the lead. Austin Cindric going to try to find his way around on the outside. A couple cars into the wall a little further back. It looked like maybe it was Kyle Larson getting into the wall possibly early on. So Larson very well might have hit the wall. We're not 100% sure on that. Reddick is going to clear. He's going to go to the lead, and you can see already they're kind of forming up a little bit. They're going to probably be able to run in this kind of pack formation-ish for a little while, and then we'll see probably the tires fall off, and they'll spread out possibly as Reddick runs real high, and Austin Dillon is now going to go to the lead. Denny Hamlin to the inside of Alex Bowman. Chase Elliott chops the nose off of Daniel Hemrick to get down to the inside. Kurt Busch getting real loose. Now Chase Elliott going to look to the inside of him. Hemrick to Chase's outside. So plenty of room being given. Austin Dillon leads that lap. Kurt Busch trying to find a way around his teammate. You've got 3 of the Hendrick cars up here. The 4th car isn't here today at all. He missed the race this morning. In the qualification race, he failed to qualify in. So the 24 car is not here. There's only 3 cars representing Hendrick Motorsports here today. as Tyler Reddick tries to take the lead back away from Denny Hamlin now. Denny Hamlin led that last lap, but he's going to lose position here. Kurt Busch now trying to follow Reddick past Austin Dillon, and instead jumps to the outside with Austin Dillon to try to maybe clear his teammate. Daniel Hemrick absolutely putting on a fantastic show. This man had a great outing in the truck race and is continuing to show well here at Las Vegas. Actually ran second in the truck race and won a stage. So Hemrick trying to find his way to the front. And maybe that extra track time over here helping Daniel Hemrick out. Absolutely running fantastically here in the number 77. I don't think anybody would have expected this as the Chevys dominate early on here. 4 of the top 5 are Chevrolets, and if Chase Elliott gets around Austin Cindric, it'll be 5 of 5 for the front for the bow tie. And it's actually now going to be 6 of the first 6 because Joey Logano also clears through. So the bow tie brigade having a great time at the front already. Kurt Busch getting way too high into that third line, into the marbles, and you can see them out there. They're still there. As we actually have somebody already on pit road. It looks like Daniel Suarez, Bubba Wallace, and Kyle Larson. So it does look like, in fact, they did have damage. Suarez is leaving as Daniel Hemrick has found his way to the lead. Daniel Hemrick leads in this race. Denny Hamlin now throwing it deep to the inside of Chase Elliott. But it is Daniel Hemrick who's leading, although it looks like Tyler Reddick's going to beat him to the line. Hemrick holds the better line. Chase Elliott getting pinched by Denny Hamlin. Looked like he might put Austin Dillon in the wall for a moment there, but everything holds steady and everybody's all right. Hemrick now trying to hold off 2 hard-charging Hendrick Motorsports entries, and a third one coming quickly. But an incredible job by Hemrick to even be in this position. So Daniel Hemrick leads this race. Absolutely was unexpected here out of Hemrick. But here comes Chase Elliott now trying to find his way around Daniel Hemrick. He's going to follow him through. He's going to now look to the inside. Here comes Chase Elliott, engine number 9 to lead. Denny Hamlin getting very loose there. Looked like he might almost lose that car. Holds on to it and will stay green. Ross Chastain coming forward. You can see Kyle Busch now into the top 10. But with that little bit of looseness, Chase Elliott now clear by almost 0.5 of a second. And we could maybe see the worn tires starting to come into play at some point. And of course, we'll see pit stops at some point. Austin Dillon now to the inside. And you see both Hamlin and Kurt Busch getting up into the marble area. And quite frankly, you really don't want to be into those marbles. They're not really good for you. But we continue on and things continue to change throughout the field. It's been a very hectic start to this race. A lot of passing going on and a lot of lead changing. Austin Dillon now runs second to Chase Elliott. And he's going to try and get around Chase to lead a lap. Almirola and Ty Dillon up into the marble area. But we carry on. Chase Elliott now on the defense from Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon going to look to his inside. Chase Elliott runs up high into the marble area. However, he looks to hold on pretty well with the car, and he's just going to lose 1 position back to second. And he's going to even look to fight back immediately on Austin Dillon, and he's going to get the position back. Dillon runs high, as does Reddick, both trying to stay out of the marbles. Chase Elliott taking full advantage of having probably one of the best cars in this field. Now trying to get around, or trying to get away and break the draft from Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin, who run behind him. Almost 0.6 of a second now back to Hamlin. So Chase Elliott doing exactly what he wants to do. But of course, I don't think it's enough, and Hamlin's still going to have his draft. course, it makes it even worse when he goes in and gets loose into the corner. So Hemrick now returning to the front and now trying to get around Denny Hamlin for second place. And Hemrick is going to actually get side by side. They're going to stay side by side here as they're going to continue to battle behind Chase Elliott, and this could allow Chase to maybe get away a little bit as Chase continues to run the same line and get loose each time into the corner. You can really see it. So try to find a little bit better camera. He gets real loose into 3. It seems like each and every time he loses a lot of time to whoever runs the slightly lower line here. And I don't understand that line. I'm not quite sure why we continue to run that line, as it's clearly not working. As here comes Kurt Busch. Maybe he just doesn't have the handling in the car to run the low line perfectly. The battle behind kind of continues to rage, but Chase Elliott and Kurt Busch might be pulling away a little bit here, as Logano gets clear of Hamlin, and now they'll try and run them back down. And with the draft, it shouldn't be too hard. If you're not thrilled about it and you want to see a bit more or a bit less of this kind of racing, well, blame the package. If we ever get the next gen car, I'm sure it'll be a little bit different. Chase Elliott continues to run the same line. Kurt Busch now trying to find his way around. Hamlin now around Logano again. And he's now running down this 2-car breakaway at the front. And he's got Reddick behind him. So Hendrick Motorsports continues to run well. Chase up into the marbles. Really cost him a lot of time here. And he's going to fall back to 4th. So Chase Elliott loses positions to Hamlin and Reddick. And he's still stuck on the outside. He's going to probably go back even further if he's not too careful. So Kurt Busch now leads in this race over Tyler Reddick. So Hendrick 1-2. Chase Elliott trying to find his way back on the outside of Logano. He's definitely got the preferred line on exit. Maybe not on entry, but definitely on exit. And we'll see what he can do with it. And it looks like he will not be able to clear Logano, but he is able to find room and fall in line behind Logano. So he is now clear in. Kurt Busch now looking to be under fire from Tyler Reddick. A little less, maybe. Tires might be wearing out a little bit more and requiring some actual racing rather than the draft just kind of keeping everybody packed together. Although, as I say that, here comes Reddick around the outside, and he's going to try and take the lead back. So Tyler Reddick, who qualified on pole, goes back to the front of this race. Chase Elliott now looking to the inside of Joey Logano. Bubba Wallace now up here as well. Michael McDowell has found his way into the top 10 as Bubba Wallace just about shoves Logano into the wall. And almost wrecks himself off of Chase Elliott's nose. Bubba Wallace giving it everything he's got, trying to move that car forward. And he's actually doing a pretty good job of it. So Kurt Busch now leads again. And here comes Bubba Wallace to the outside of team owner Denny Hamlin. And he is really coming forward quickly. That car is a rocket ship right now. Bubba Wallace taking big advantage of fresh tires. That's what that is. I just managed to look over and realize he is not racing anybody for position That man is on fresh tires some 6 laps down. So Kurt Busch continues to lead over Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Joey Logano, and Ross Chastain, the top 5. Tyler Reddick to the outside of Denny Hamlin makes that pass happen and does it with ease. Logano looks to do the same thing and actually clears Hamlin. So now it is Chevy, Toyota, Ford. And the field kind of starting to even out a little bit. You can see in the back they're still all racing, but at the front it's a little bit more even in the cars that maybe have the fresher tires, or not the fresher tires, sorry, there is nothing to do with tires, but the cars that are just better are probably now starting to kind of even out and pull away. Bubba Wallace, who's now run through his tires, is now going to start to go backwards. Possibly. But Kurt Busch now leads this race. Bubba Wallace on the absolute outside, going backwards as a lap car. Tyler Reddick trying to find his way around his teammate, and Joey Logano trying to hold off Denny Hamlin. Reddick now looks to the inside of Kurt Busch. They'll go into the corner side by side, almost make contact, but they are clean. Joey Logano now running right here with them, trying to find his way around as well, if he can. Reddick and Busch continue to run side by side. Reddick now clears through into turn 3. And Chase Elliott, who got around Ross Chastain, it looks like on the high side, tried to follow Bubba Wallace in there, but Bubba was stuck behind a slower Kurt Busch in that scenario. So now Chase Elliott looks to go a different way, as Marco Andretti putting on an absolutely fantastic show in the number 25 as he runs towards the front. And he now looks to the inside of Chase Elliott to try to gain position. So Marco Andretti really proving that he can hold his own in the Cup cars. The Nightmare cars are provided and built, and basically everything is done for them by Joe Gibbs Racing. So the car itself is a pretty good car. They just buy it off of Gibbs. And Marco Andretti really giving it everything it's worth, as Michael McDowell now to the inside of him. Michael McDowell continues his march to the front after starting very, very far back in the field. And we're back into this big pack. We have one lap car in here, kind of playing with everybody's emotions a little bit. Certainly blocking or giving draft where, you might not get it. But it's certainly a different change of pace as Logano tries to find his way around Tyler Reddick. He gets loose. This is going to open the door for Kurt Busch to go around him. Now Kurt Busch is going to look to find his way around Tyler Reddick. And will he be able to? He's going to look to the outside. He's going to now hold the middle line. Follow Reddick almost. Ross Chastain now trying to find his way around Joey Logano. And the battle carries on throughout the field. All right, so the Hendrick drivers lead out in front. Kurt Busch versus Tyler Reddick. Kurt Busch trying to find the exit speed through 3 and 4. And he is going to do just that to get to alongside with Tyler Reddick. Will he be able to carry through and hold the lead through into 1? He's going to run the outside, and Reddick will get a run back, but Kurt Busch holding on a lower line. We'll see what kind of run off the corner he gets. Certainly being on the high side, you get a little better of a run, but Reddick holds steady. Reddick continues to hold his position. Chase Elliott now trying to find his way around Joey Logano and find his way back into the third position. Kurt Busch finally clears off of 4, and Chase Elliott looks to be maybe doing the same with Logano. No, he's going to be stuck on the outside, so he's going to have to continue to battle Joey Logano. And Logano actually clears him. He's now stuck battling Ross Chastain. Chase Elliott now looks to the inside of Joey Logano. And Joey Logano runs way up high, so it is Hendrick Motorsports 1, 2, 3 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Tyler Reddick looks to the inside once more of Kurt Busch. They've been going back and forth all race long. Makes almost contact there. Now Chase Elliott trying to find his way past both of them. Chase Elliott wants to go back to the lead of this race. Reddick gets loose. Chase Elliott now on a rail on the outside. Kurt Busch gets to the lead. Chase Elliott going to come through second. Tyler Reddick now falling back. Might lose even a position to Ross Chastain here. He is going to hold steady on the inside, and Tyler Reddick is going to clear through to third. Now it is Chase Elliott trying to take on Kurt Busch. And at some point, you have to think that they're not going to be able to continue to race like this forever, but it just keeps going on and on. They will, of course, have to make a pit stop in each stage, and we'll see how that plays out. As now Chase Elliott looks to the inside of Kurt Busch, and he clears through. Chase Elliott to the lead. Kurt Busch now runs second. Kurt going to try and hold the inside. Chase with the outside, the better run off the corner here, but Kurt Busch really puts in a good run. Tyler Reddick now coming back, and Kurt Busch will lead that lap. And now Tyler Reddick on the inside with help from Joey Logano. Now Logano looks to go 3 wide with Reddick and Chase Elliott. Manages to hold steady where he is. Reddick now trying to get around Kurt Busch. Chase Elliott with a big run. Going to help Reddick. He's going to try and clear Logano at least and hold on to third position. Not going to happen. Logano's going to be able to hold on to the inside. And Chase Elliott gets up into the marbles. So he's going to likely go backwards. Kurt Busch with the excellent run off the corner. And now he's going to have the outside line into 3 and 4. Tyler Reddick drifts up. Kurt Busch with a good run through 3 and 4 and holds steady into the lead. Denny Hamlin now looks to get around Tyler Reddick in much the same way. And we'll inch closer to pit stops, probably somewhere around lap 60, I believe. So a great race continues to occur throughout here. As we see Dillon and Hemrick back battling for stage points. With 40 laps to go in, or coming to 40 laps to go in the stage, Chase Elliott now battling with Denny Hamlin to his outside, trying to hold one another off and maybe get around Joey Logano, as Tyler Reddick's going to look to the inside of Kurt Busch once more. And Reddick is going to clear Kurt Busch this time through 1 and 2. Now, out of nowhere, we haven't seen him at all today. Here comes Kyle Busch in the Pennzoil machine. Trying to find his way to the front. Maybe saving tires further back on. And now he's got tires and he's coming to the front. Austin Dillon kind of fell back and out of the picture for a while. Now he's starting to charge back. So maybe something similar. Maybe he was on a tire saving strategy and they're both coming to the front on the older tires. As Brad Keselowski finds his way into the top 10. So Kurt Busch, with today's race sponsor on board his car, is now coming to the front. And you have to think Pennzoil's got to be thrilled to see the Pennzoil car coming to the front. Chase Elliott gets on the brakes after almost getting into Kyle Busch. We have a huge pack on our hands up here, as it seems like the guys who've maybe saved some tire are really running down this front group. Although now it looks like maybe Dylan and Kyle Busch have hit a wall. Maybe they've found the spot where they've gotten the best out of their tires that they've saved some life in, and they can't go any further. But if that's the case, I mean, you've made up as much ground as you have. You have to be proud of that at least. Tyler Reddick trying to pull away from Denny Hamlin, and of course we'll have to wait and see how pit stops will play into things. Because pit stops could open up big enough gaps that we'll see somebody be able to take the stage win with relative ease. We expect pit stops within the next 15 laps. When that is, we're not 100% sure, but we do expect to see them at some point within that time frame. Denny Hamlin now tries to take the lead away from Tyler Reddick, and he will do just that. So Denny Hamlin goes to the lead. Tyler Reddick back to second. And he runs all the way up into the marbles there on entry. Now, of course, they have been clearing those marbles out a little bit with each time they enter there. And now it's not quite as, loose per se. Chase Elliott really thinking about maybe sending it 4 wide for a second. He really had to think about it. Thinks better of it and decides not to. Now he's going to hold the outside here and try and get around Joey Logano. And he's going to continue to run the outside line. And he gets a little bit of loose with Kyle Busch up behind him, almost as if Kyle Busch dumped some dirty air onto that spoiler, and that car just got loose all of a sudden. Kyle Busch goes to second place. Chase Elliott back to fifth. Kurt Busch running fourth. Joey Logano third, as the three of them continue to battle for position here. Chase Elliott now running the preferred line on that outside line. Such a big run that you can get through each lap. And I will be right back having to deal with a feline problem. Right, so we are back with just over 30, or just under 30 laps to go in the stage. And Kyle Busch now battles with not Joey Logano, but Denny Hamlin to try to take the lead of this race. Kurt Busch trying to find his way back into this battle. Who's going to win stage one here today? And of course, there's still a pit stop to be had throughout the field. Kurt Busch continues to close on Logano. And we do see a gap between, or not Kurt Busch, but Kyle Busch continues to close on Logano. Kurt Busch runs behind them, actually. So it is the Busch brothers versus Joey Logano. Both drivers, of course, from Las Vegas, trying their best to win this race here in front of the home crowd. Chase Elliott now trying to battle the inside of Joey Logano behind them. And it looks like he is going to get that position. So Chase Elliott moves through to fourth. But again, we question when the pit stops will start. Nobody is taken yet. Kyle Busch tries to run the inside line. He wants to get around Denny Hamlin if he can. The inside line really just isn't kind of there, as Denny really actually forced his way to holding Kyle to the inside. And now here comes on the outside Kurt Busch. So Kurt Busch comes around his brother, and here comes Chase Elliott. I'm sorry, what? So now a battle ensues for second place between 300 cars and a Team Penske car. Chase Elliott looks to hold second place on the outside, and now he's going to try and run down Denny Hamlin. Of course, at any moment now we should be seeing pit stops. Kurt Busch, with a great run on the outside, will likely collect his teammate after we saw Tyler Reddick get loose, and here comes Daniel Hemrick back into this. So Daniel Hemrick, who is absolutely continuing to put on a great performance today, continues to run seventh. I mean, this is not a driver who I expected to run this well, but it looks like his time in the Truck Series is paying off in this regard, and he's certainly going to get some strong looks at possibly filling a Cup ride for next year if he's going to race this way all season long. And he's got a lot of races on his schedule for the year. So now it's Chase Elliott trying to catch and pass Denny Hamlin. 59 out of 80. And again, we continue to wonder when pit stops will happen. They have to be coming soon, you have to think. I mean, how far can they go on a single tank of gas? That's the big question. I'm sure we're going to find out real soon. Chase Elliott now running kind of a little bit higher groove, trying to find some clean air behind Denny Hamlin, as the two of them are pretty well clear of Joey Logano. They both kind of run the same line, and it continues to be the line that I still think does not help them. I think that running that line is not beneficial to speed, but they continue to run it through 3 and 4. Chase Elliott now trying to close up to Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin looking a little bit to the inside. You wonder if he is in either defending or maybe signaling that he's coming to pit road here. And he is on the brakes. He's coming to pit road. Kurt Busch with him. And I believe Tyler Reddick as well. So Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick find their way to pit road. And as of right now, that is it. Those are the only three on pit road at the moment. And we'll see how this plays out. Chase Elliott now ducks down that little bit, much like we just saw Denny Hamlin do, almost as if signaling that, hey, I'm coming to pit road this time. So Chase Elliott will hit pit road. And Chase Elliott seems to be hitting pit road currently by himself, and there's Austin Dillon behind him. So Chase Elliott and Austin Dillon will cycle through. Now on to pit road. And we will, of course, have to see where they cycle out in comparison to Denny Hamlin. Also on pit road is Austin Cindric and Justin Haley. We're going to see Logano, Hemrick, and Kyle Busch all pit. Byron stays out. Chase Elliott is just now leaving pit road, and Denny Hamlin is just now in the tri-oval. So Chase is going to get on the pedal here, and Denny is in this pack. So Denny is coming at full speed, and Denny is likely going to get position, and he does. So Chase Elliott does lose a position to Denny Hamlin, but he will not lose one to Kurt Busch. Kyle Busch just now leaving his pit box, and here comes Joey Logano. We'll see how he cycles through in relation to Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin. There goes Denny Hamlin. And here comes Chase Elliott. So Chase Elliott will clear as well. He will clear or come out in front of Kurt Busch, but Kurt Busch will have the run and clear him through into the next corner. Now we've got Cody Ware coming in, and this should, in theory, cycle everybody through. Cole Custer, Bowman, Gralla, and Cody Ware still there, and Cody Ware did not stay in his box for long, weirdly. So I'm not sure what that decision is. He really wasn't in that box very long at all. But he is now, in fact, he actually doesn't even have a time listed for his box time, and he was only on pit road for 29.4 in comparison to everybody else's 42, so I kind of expect him to come back in. Not quite sure why that happens occasionally. And yes, he will hit pit road again for some odd reason. So Denny Hamlin now well clear of Chase Elliott here in stage one. Looking like he is probably going to win this stage with relative ease. Ross Chastain, Chase Briscoe, William Byron now all battling with Kyle Busch. It looks like there's not, well, no, there's Tony Kanaan as well in this fight. So there will be a battle for stage points. I didn't think there would be for just a moment. I thought there was only, this was everybody back to 10th place, but no, there's all the way back to 11th in this battle. So we'll have to see how this plays out, as this group will be the group that awards stage points. Denny Hamlin now continues to lead. Chase Elliott closing every lap. Chase Elliott gets a little bit closer. He's been faster each time around by almost 0.4 of a second. So Chase Elliott is roughly closing 0.4 of a second a lap. If he continues that pace, that is enough to catch Denny Hamlin. But I don't know if he can continue that pace. He does close another 10th in that lap, but if he continues that gap, just a 10th a lap, well, then he's going to need a few more laps. But if he gets into a close enough range, he will have Denny Hamlin's draft. And that'll be big. And the fact that Denny Hamlin is now running the outside of Daniel Suarez probably doesn't help there as Suarez comes back in. Chase Elliott now just 9/10 of a second behind Denny Hamlin as he tries to run down Hamlin for this stage win. And Logano's trying to run down Chase Elliott. So this isn't just a one-car deal right now, or two-car battle. As Chase Elliott inches ever closer, he's now within 7/10 of a second. Logano only 6/10 back to Chase Elliott. So Logano will catch Chase's draft before I think Chase catches Denny's draft. But the gap is now just 7/10 of a second. And he continues to close with each and every lap. Chase Elliott now only 6/10 of a second behind. And he's probably within draft range at this point. The 9 car is coming. It is closing with each lap. And Denny Hamlin has to be saying, well, shit. We're going to have to actually fight for this one. Joey Logano, the fastest car in the top 3, or out of these 3. But Chase Elliott running second is closing. And he is now well into Denny Hamlin's draft, and he's closing faster onto Denny Hamlin now than Joey Logano is on him. As we come to just a handful left in the stage, roughly about 7 laps to go. Chase Elliott inches ever closer. And Logano gets closer to both of them. So, who wins this stage? We really don't know, because it is going to be a 3-car battle for this stage win. Chase Elliott now to Denny Hamlin's back bumper. Where will he go to get around him? He looks to the inside. He's going to set this up to try to pass Denny Hamlin to the inside. And he is going to get side by side. Will Denny Hamlin be able to hold on to the lead on the outside lane? No, Chase Elliott to the lead. But now he has to deal with Joey Logano behind him. Logano looks to the outside for a moment, thinks better of it, and just rides where he is. So now Chase Elliott leads with just 5 to go in the stage. Denny Hamlin went from first in stage to third. Who is going to pick up this stage win? Chase Elliott trying to win his first stage of the season. Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin all trying to do the same. So 3 cars battle for their first stage win of the year and that precious playoff point. As Logano is able to hold off Denny Hamlin, but Denny Hamlin stays to his inside. He's not able to use the good run that he got to try to battle Chase Elliott to the inside. Logano now cleared by Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin now looking to the inside, thinking about going to the inside of Chase Elliott, and Chase Elliott runs the absolute outside line here. And this is going to open the door for Denny Hamlin to take the lead back of this race. And Chase Elliott now on Joey Logano's outside. And he's now putting up a fight with Logano, and both of them are now going to maybe lose touch enough with Hamlin that Hamlin is going to be able to at least maybe hold on to this stage win. As pit road is closed now, as they come to 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go left in this stage. Joey Logano looks to think about the inside. Nothing really going there for him. Chase Elliott going to fly to the outside. He's going to try and make something happen to the outside of Logano. And with help from draft from Denny Hamlin, we'll see what he can do. Of course, this is going to set him up to run the outside line through here. He does keep it to the middle line more so, and this is going to offer him an opportunity to maybe take the outside lane on Denny Hamlin down into turn one. Chase Elliott now to the outside of Denny Hamlin. If he can hold low enough, he'll have a shot at this. He doesn't, and Joey Logano is going to look to his inside. Joey Logano now trying to find the inside of Denny Hamlin, and I think he is going to get held off by Denny Hamlin. Chase Elliott to the outside again, trying to get a big run. Can he get enough of a run coming off the corner? He will not, and Denny Hamlin will win this stage. So Denny Hamlin wins the stage. Chase Elliott second. Joey Logano third. I don't know why. Yeah, there we go. Now it's fixing itself. Or fixing himself. There we go. So Chase Elliott finishes second. Logano third. Kurt Busch fourth. Kyle Busch fifth. William Byron sixth. Chase Briscoe seventh. Eighth goes to Ross Chastain and ninth. Austin Dillon, Tony Kanaan rounds out your top 10 in stage one. Ooh, excuse me. And while they all hit pit road and do all that, I will be right back. Oh, thank you. I just now noticed this race. Rinse the fence. Uh, just came back actually from having to do something myself, just trying to get this run through. But we are well through into stage 2. Denny Hamlin continues to lead over Kurt Busch in the 5 and Ty Gibbs here as we're getting ever closer to actually these drivers making pit stops. They're 57 laps in on their stints. Denny Hamlin well out in front, but we will of course be having a caution here just soon for the stage break. So these guys will be making pit stops for the next 3 laps, and then we'll head to the stage break shortly after. So we'll see who finishes where as we carry on. Ty Dillon running 4th, Chase Elliott 5th, Logano 6th. Not a whole lot of battling going on. Well, I'd say not a whole lot of battling. There is certainly this whole pack. Martin Truex Jr. finally trying to find his way to the front after starting this race very deep, buried in this field. So he's got that 88 for Junior Motorsports moving to the front. Michael McDowell in the 45 trying to find some speed and find position. Denny Hamlin decides to stay out another lap, so we'll see who all comes in as it looks like we've got, and I'm waiting for it to update here. Actually, that was one of the cars at the back. That was, looks like Kaz Gralla that dropped onto pit road, so he is already a lap down. These guys cannot push it to the stage. They will have to pit before the stage break. And we'll see now who's going to be first on. They're actually all the way to lap 60. They pushed it further than at this point than in stage 1. And I wonder if that isn't partially due to the fact that there was, of course, the stage break caution. And they've got a few extra laps, essentially, under the caution where they ran around. It looks like maybe Denny Hamlin's thinking about pitting this time in. So we'll have to see what he does here. So yes, Denny Hamlin is in. Kurt Busch now going to inherit the lead. So Kurt Busch is going to stay out. Denny Hamlin, the only driver in to pit road so far. We'll see what short pitting does for Denny Hamlin, as he is the only driver to hit pit road this previous time. And he was the first driver on pit road in stage 1. It resulted in a stage win for him. It's looking pretty good for him to get another stage win in this race, as he certainly has been running well in stage 2. Kurt Busch is going to come down, and Tyler Reddick, I apologize, will inherit the lead. So Tyler Reddick now trying to make the pass on Bubba Wallace, who will now be some 9 laps down in this race. Tyler Reddick expected on pit road here very soon, although he is going to stay out. Bubba Wallace will come back on the inside for just a moment, and we wait to see if anybody hits pit road here. Nobody will. So we continue to hold out and see how long drivers will stay on the racing surface here. We assume that they can't stay out here too much longer, although obviously lap times have been not lap times, but the stint time has been indicative that they are a little bit longer than at least stage 1, but again, stage caution could play into that. Reddick is now on pit road, and it looks like Eric Almirola will inherit the lead for the time being. So Almirola will go to the lead, and I believe Austin Dillon is just picking up a lap. He is 5 laps down. So expect to have 30 cars running on the lead lap at the end of this stage once everybody cycles through to their pit stops. Almirola now in. We expect to maybe see Truex come in, and he does, and Harrison Burton to come in. And Harrison Burton will hit pit road. So Tyler Reddick, currently your leader, although he is going to lose that position. Denny Hamlin comes well back out, and actually, I said Reddick was leading, but Almirola still continues to lead as he's just now hitting his box. Denny Hamlin will re-inherit the lead once he comes around. Cole Custer into second if they get out in front of Almirola, Truex, and Burton. So this will be the key. Almirola now leaving his box. Denny Hamlin will clear them with ease, and Cole Custer actually just as well. So Cole Custer will inherit second, Kurt Busch to third, and we're up to Almirola in fourth. Where will he come out? Ty Dillon's the next car, and Ty Dillon will get him, as will Todd Gilliland. Justin Haley looks like he'll get Almirola as well. Yes, so big changes here in the backside of this stage. A lot of drivers that we saw at the front of the race early on kind of mired back. Only 27 cars on the lead lap. Corey LaJoie runs last of the cars on the lead lap. Hamlin now under fire from BJ McLeod, who's trying to get a lap back in this race. And we'll come to 15 to go in the stage. So just 15 more laps till we get to the stage break. Denny Hamlin well clear as Kurt Busch has gotten around Cole Custer. Not quite sure when that happened, but Kurt Busch to second place. Because I'm pretty sure Custer inherited second for a moment, but Kurt Busch has run him down, I guess, and cleared him. Todd Gilliland now battling with Ty Dillon. Tyler Reddick trying to clear whatever he can to get away from Castle and Almirola. Truex running pretty well, Ryan that is. And Justin Haley currently would finish out the stage points. Chase Elliott trying to find his way back towards the front with Martin Truex Jr. Logano also previously running at the front. Cindric actually probably up as far as I think he might have been all day today. But he now runs in 12th. And we'll actually go through the field and see if we can't put that up. So Denny Hamlin continues to lead this race and continues to possibly look to sweep both of the stages in this race. So we'll see how that plays out. Obviously with a 4-second gap, it's looking pretty good for him on doing so. Kurt Busch runs second, and you can see he's been all the way up to first at some point or another in this race. But he'll run second currently. Todd Gilliland has now made his way around Cole Custer, as has Ty Dillon. So Gilliland now runs third. Highest he's been is fourth, and been all the way back to 37th. So a lot of these guys have been at the back of the pack. It does look like Cody Ware is slow on the inside there. Not sure what's up with him, but he is limping back around the pit road. No caution to be found. Ty Dillon running fourth at the moment for the Stewart-Haas camp. Cole Custer runs fifth and has gotten that car all the way up to leading at one point or another. So he's having a great day. Almirola runs sixth ahead of Tyler Reddick. And Reddick, as I said, started from the pole, currently runs seventh. Castle in eighth. And Ryan Truex just behind him. Joey Logano trying to hold on to the final stage position with Ross Chastain trying to run him down. As Ross Chastain runs in 11th. Cindric in 12th. Haley's fallen back to 13th. Ty Gibbs on his stint running in 14th. And Chase Elliott trying to close on him in 15th. Truex Jr. is back up to 16th. Started 29th, so pretty far back. Fell back to 35th at one point and managed to find his way into the top three for a little bit, as he's actually going to go to the outside of Chase Elliott and try to get around him. Michael McDowell, another driver that started at the back, made his way to the front and is now trying to fight his way back to the front, is running 17th. And Stenhouse in 18th. You see Bowman to his outside trying to find a way around, and he'll run 19th, with Harrison Burton currently running 20th. So we'll call that through the field. Go back to looking at Denny Hamlin leading. The gap is kind of closing a little, but I don't think there's enough time, enough laps, or really Kurt Busch closing enough for this to really be able to be something that Kurt Busch might be able to close down completely. We'll have to see what Kurt Busch can do as he attempts to close in. But it is Todd Gilliland versus Ty Dillon battling it out for who's going to get third in the stage. As we come ever closer to that completion. Of course, you will see me have to pull up the iRacing menu, which I'm not a big fan of doing, but kind of have to do to click over and make sure that we are on that screen. So the battle behind them, Reddick now back around Almirola. Castle trying to defend from Truex. Custer on much older tires, and that's something that I failed to mention. Custer's on 28 lap old tires, so everybody else is 15 to 12. So he's running slower lap times because of this, but managed to hold his own where he runs in 9th. Justin Haley on 33 lap old tires, and that's why he's kind of gone backwards throughout this stint after the pit stops. But Denny Hamlin continues to lead as we're down to 5 laps to go in the stage. Coming to the close of this race, we are going to see Denny Hamlin sweep the stages here at Las Vegas. So the 23XI team putting together a great car for Denny Hamlin to manage to really get this job done as well as he can. Sweeping 2 stages, big feat, big bonus points for him. I mean, that's 20 points on the race for stage points, so that's huge. Obviously leading the lap, the 2 playoff points that are included as well. These are all big things for Denny Hamlin as he tries to chase his playoff spot, which of course has now currently been filled by Justin Haley winning at Daytona, and then Brad Keselowski with his win at Homestead, and Elio Castroneves with our most recent win coming at Sebring. Now, of course, you do have to stay within the top 30 in points, and if any of those drivers do fall outside of the top 30 in points, they will lose their position in the chase. So, as of right now, like I said, you do have to finish in that position, and all the drivers currently are in that position. But Castroneves has had a few bad races over the course of the season. I don't think he finished well at Daytona or Homestead, but he is running, I think, 25th in points, which would currently put him in a position. And of course, we did just close the pit road, so the 43 going to incur a penalty. I can only close pit road. I can't tell them to be smart about it, as we are white flag in the stage. So Denny Hamlin is going to pick up this stage win, and we'll throw it once he crosses the line. Just so that I can kind of have it be as they were when he wins, essentially. So the yellow flag will come out now, and Denny Hamlin wins stage 2 in this race. So Denny Hamlin, winner of 2 straight stages, and in absolute domination today. Managed to hold off Chase Elliott and Joey Logano in stage 1, just barely. But stage 2, 5-second victory for Denny Hamlin. So absolutely, and actually I don't think it was 5 seconds. It was more of 4, around 4 seconds gap there for Denny Hamlin to win stage 2. So we now have just over, or yeah, about 101 laps to go in this race. We'll restart with just under 100 laps, somewhere around probably 95, 96, somewhere in there to go. So they'll have to make one pit stop still in this race. As of this moment, I am going to step away, hopefully just for a few minutes, while they run under the caution, and we'll hope to be back before they go back green. All right, and we have returned in time. Looks like Kurt Busch, Todd Gillen, Ty Dillon, Tyler Reddick, Eric Almirola, Laney Castle, Ryan Truex, Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, Ty Gibbs, Austin Cindric, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Alex Bowman, and Michael McDowell have all decided to stay out on their 22-lap old tires. So we'll see how long it takes Denny Hamlin to pick his way through this, well, large contingent of old tires. Now, after stage 1, only 4 cars had stayed out. And it really took the fast guys only about 2 or 3 laps to kind of march their way through this. This is a whole different story. This is a large contingent of the field. And I'm pretty sure that they can still make it on just one stop. They've got about 40-ish laps that they're going to be able to go before they need to hit pit road. So that'll put them in roughly the range of lap 210, roughly. So if they're around lap 210, you know, that's only about 57 laps to 58 laps to go. They can do about 60 on a stint. So certainly within range, I think that they'll be able to do it on one stop. Now, of course, you are putting yourself at risk by running longer. We'll have to see how everything plays out and who's going to win this race. Certainly going to be an interesting feat. But it will be Kurt Busch leading them back to the line as we take the green flag. Tyler Reddick looks to jump to the outside. Ty Dillon looks to send it 3 wide. Will we see carnage in the back? Chase Elliott is into the wall. So Chase Elliott makes contact with the wall, and we've seen that end a few days for drivers today, as they've just kind of been really slow afterwards, and Chase Elliott looking like he will be headed to pit road. I actually managed to hold up this entire back portion of fresh tire runners. So incredible from 21st on back. Brad Keselowski, it looks like Castor Nevis just got the wall. We'll actually take that back for just a moment. And no, he's just slow off the corners. No, it appears he does have damage. So I'm not quite sure what happened there then. Ty Dillon to the lead from Eric Almirola. So they've gotten around Kurt Busch at some point, and why the camera is focused on Chase Elliott, I will never know why it decides to do that. But now Kurt Busch trying to find his way back, and you know, I said it only took a couple of laps for the fresh tire guys to get to the front in stage 1, going to stage 2. Denny Hamlin's here. He's already all the way up to second, so fresh tires, absolutely a premium in this race. You know, I like this strat from the guys that stayed out. You got to try something. But I think Denny Hamlin has just basically walked away with this. He's going to have a gap even on Eric Almirola, who's the next driver on... Actually, no, correction. Cole Custer is the next driver on Freshies, as he's trying to come through to the outside of Ty Dillon. Eric Jones, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. towards the back. They're all on fresh tires, and they're coming forward, but not as quickly as we've seen Denny Hamlin move through this field. I mean, Denny Hamlin absolutely rocketed his way to the lead, and he's gone at this point. I mean, he's running so much quicker than the old tire guys, lap after lap, essentially. So, obviously, the guys towards the back, Kyle Busch and company, getting held up by Chase Elliott certainly causes enough of a problem, but it's one of those things that we kind of see on restarts here. They get bunched up, somebody jumps to the outside, somebody tries to jump to the middle, and somebody ends up in the wall, and it happens every time here. It doesn't matter what series it is, doesn't matter when, how many cars, it just seems to always happen with the AI. And we saw it happen with Chase Elliott, and somebody gets involved and goes to the back. So Chase Elliott, who's had a fantastic season so far, now running towards the back. I mean, he didn't have a great Sebring race. He did qualify on the pole for Sebring, but ended up out of that race early in an accident at what we called the Funnel of Death corner. And a lot of drivers ended up in that. You can check that out on the channel from, I believe it was streamed a couple days ago. Might have been yesterday. I'm not 100% certain. I know it's on the channel. It's the last thing that was streamed on the channel was the second Supercar race and the NASCAR Cup race from Sebring. We do have every race so far that we have shown is still on the channel. You can go back and watch those if you want to. The Daytona 500 was a very exciting, great race to watch. Homestead was a bit more of a wrecky kind of situation, and Sebring kind of followed as well. You may get some laughs out of it if you go watch Sebring for sure. The Funnel of Death Corner, as I called it, was absolute comedy for uh, a handful of laps. Just kind of you had to laugh at it a little bit. Obviously, if it's your driver, you feel bad, but I mean, some of it was just downright funny to see happen. So if you want to go check that out, you can. If you're enjoying the content, if you've been enjoying the races, if you've been here since the beginning, then give us a follow. Be here for every race. We do have the touring cars and the GT4s running in a pilot challenge series. So they all run at the same time. They'll be back the same time as the supercars will. Uh, that'll be in as we'll put in quotations, 3 weeks' time. We're trying to churn these out as quickly as we can to try to mitigate the fact that we are some 20 odd races behind the actual NASCAR Cup calendar, and I'm trying to catch up ish as well as I can to set us up into next year to actually run side by side with the NASCAR Cup calendar when we can. As for the other series, they're just going to kind of follow along with where they're at and where we fit in their schedules. They'll have a lot more off weeks than you'll see here. Running in the background, not really seen, but it is running in the background, and it's to kind of, feed into this series. As you know, Eric Almirola announced his retirement at the end of 2022. We're going to honor that fact that he's going to retire at the end of the year. So he will be retiring in this series at the end of the year. So, that now looks at what Joe Gibbs is doing in the Xfinity series. They've got Brandon Jones still running for them, Jeb Burton driving their 20 car, and Cesar Barcarella in the 54. And they'll either look at that or maybe trying to steal somebody away from another team. A Stenhouse Jr. from Petty GMS or something along those lines. Who knows what they're looking at? Daniel Hemrick putting on a great showing, at least early on. Maybe they'll look at pulling him out of the truck series where he currently runs. He did not find an Xfinity ride in our series, and, well, he runs in the trucks. So we'll have to see how the seasons shape out. But Cole Custer actually running down Denny Hamlin. I've just been kind of noticing it. The gap was the second and something. Cole Custer trying his best to run down Denny Hamlin. Hamlin trying his best to just run away with it and, kind of handedly take home a win here and lock himself into the chase. It would actually be the first real big name expected driver to lock his way into the chase. With Haley winning at Daytona, that was kind of one of those, wild cards. Hey, we're at Daytona. Anybody could win. And now he's running third. So he's doing pretty well for himself. Then you had Brad Keselowski, which, it's Brad Keselowski, but the RFK cars haven't been great. Certainly wasn't something that we expected to see him win at Homestead, but really just kind of lucked out. Managed to keep the car clean and put himself in a great position. So he ended up winning a race. And then Helio Castroneves literally stealing a win with like 3 corners to go away from Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon looked like he was going to win Sebring with relative efficiency and great driving. And it just didn't materialize. And Helio Castroneves stole that one away. Actually, into the funnel of death was one of the most incredible things I've seen. Was into a corner where I don't think I had seen anybody make a move to make a pass. As Cole Custer has caught, he is now to the inside of Denny Hamlin, and they're going to battle for the lead. So Cole Custer in the Trackhouse 99 trying to etch his name into the win column. And of course, It's probably too early to be talking about that, obviously. It's only lap 188 of 267. So we've still got so many laps to go in this race. But, you know, it's there. It's kind of, one of those things like, hey, Custer's here. He's actually doing a little bit better job than some of the drivers behind him. And certainly a lot better than a lot of the guys we expect. Now, Kurt Busch and company, we noted that Kyle Busch and his contingent of fresh tire guys that were back there kind of got stuck behind Chase Elliott when he was slow and trying to get to the bottom of the track. Kyle Busch is the only one in that group that's utilized those fresh tires enough to actually catch the old tires group. And at this point, he's put 20 some laps on his tires and is now running a bit slower. So who knows what we're going to see in this final race. That Chase Elliott moment really kind of throwing a big wrench into everything. It was Brad Keselowski that I think was leading that group at that time, and he's now stuck behind Kevin Harvick, who's running 5 laps down. He had his own problems in this race. Plenty of drivers with problems. Danny Kvyat is out of this race, some 62 laps down. Cole Custer has cleared Denny Hamlin, and we'll try and take back to that point where he managed to actually clear him. It was actually for a few laps now, it looks like. So it does look like he gets a good run down the front straightaway. Side by side with Hamlin as they come through this little short chute. Runs the bottom line through 1 and 2, and he's already clear. So fantastic job by Cole Custer to clear Denny Hamlin. Of course, Hamlin will stick with him and will probably fight back. Obviously, Hamlin not going to lie down easy in this one, as he's now going to look to Cole Custer's inside. Custer now with the preferred line, though, at least a little bit, coming off the corner for sure. You want to be in that outside line. You could see the big run he got off and opened up a gap to 0.3 of a second on Denny Hamlin. So Eric Jones kind of getting passed by a couple of the old tire guys, almost as if we're not at a point where the older tires are kind of evening off with the fresh tires in terms of pace, and we're not seeing these guys that have these really good race cars that are on the older tires maybe kind of holding steady with some of the new tire guys. And this is big for those guys like Tyler Reddick, because they're going to need this moving forward, knowing that they're going to be 20 laps older tires after pit stops. Now they're going to take advantage of the fact that they're going to have nearly 40 lap fresher tires when they come out of pit road. And they're going to need to take advantage of whatever they can with that to get whatever time they can on the likes of Denny Hamlin and Cole Custer to try and utilize the fact that they are short pitting, essentially, and try and have whatever big enough gap that they can get over Denny Hamlin, Cole Custer, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Whatever they can do to benefit themselves is going to be huge, because if they get out to, say, a 10-second lead over Denny Hamlin, he might run that down enough that, yeah, they have to battle, but by the time he catches them, it might be enough that, as we've kind of seen the tires even off, and you get into now Reddick is able to battle with Denny Hamlin in that scenario. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. You know, the old tire guys, they're probably only, I don't know, maybe 10, 12, 13, somewhere in there. They're closing in on their window. They do absolutely need to be within 60 to go, which is in another 10 laps as of right now. So we're currently at 70 to go in this race. the guys that are on older tires absolutely need to be able to go another 10. If they can go another 10, 100% they can make it to the end of the race, and they at least have a dog in the strategy. Haley and Eric Jones really actually kind of falling back and losing ground to Joey Logano, and actually Chase Elliott up here really kind of throwing his weight around on somewhat fresher tires, trying to figure out if there isn't anything he can maybe do. And the fresh tires, or the fresher tires, Justin Haley and Eric Jones, actually kind of paying off here for just a moment. Truex Jr., really one of those guys, like I said, having a great race. Started so far back in this field and really managing to put that Taco Bell 88 into great positions and really contend in this race still. And now another thing that you'll kind of see, possibly as this continues on, is this battle with Hamlin and Custer has the likelihood to bring Reddick and Haley and Truex Jr. all back right up to these guys' bumpers. So this big advantage that they have could get negated if they keep battling hard. And all of a sudden you'll see Reddick and Truex up here trying to contend for the win, or well, contend for first places. Hamlin's now going to look like clear Cole Custer, and he will. So Denny Hamlin retakes the lead back in this race, and Martin Truex Jr. is now battling to the outside of Justin Haley. Of course, he'll run the outside line, and that line really hasn't been too great if you get too high. Now, he managed to run, I think, probably the correct line there, and utilizes that corner to help himself out. He's going to follow Tyler Reddick into turns 1 and 2, and Justin Haley manages to get back by Tyler Reddick. Cole Custer now trying to find his way back around Denny Hamlin, and does so for a second, but Denny Hamlin with a good run off the outside line will fire back, and he'll still contend with Cole Custer down into turn 1. And the longer that they keep battling like this, the better off it is for the likes of Tyler Reddick. And actually everybody that runs behind him. Now Martin Truex Jr. into 4th. So Truex has finally cleared Justin Haley, and you can see it. The gap keeps falling. It's now only 2 seconds. Custer really putting on a great show in this Trackhouse car. Somebody who actually had to qualify his way in to the Homestead race, as we do have owner's points. It's why you may not see the name Ryan Blaney or Christopher Bell running. They actually had to qualify their way in after poor showings at both Homestead and Sebring. They were not in a position to automatically qualify for this race, so they had to race their way in what we call the qualifying race. Well, neither driver made it. No Ryan Blaney, no Christopher Bell, so the Stewart-Haas racing team only brought 3 cars, essentially, as Blaney failed to make the race for them, and Christopher Bell hurting Hendrick Motorsports' chances, as they only have 3 cars to enter in. But here is Hamlin and Cole Custer continuing their fight. Reddick now only a second, 1.8 seconds back, and the gap kind of now a little bit in favor of Hamlin. Of course, this still giving off the draft to Cole Custer, and they're going to remain within range of one another to keep battling. Now, of course, like we said, we're expecting to see the old tire guys, Reddick, Truex, Logano, Castle, those guys all hit pit road here soon. We don't know when or how long it'll be, but we are expecting them to hit pit road soon. Custer now almost making contact, might have actually made contact. If they didn't, I don't know if you could have put a piece of paper between the two of them. They were that close together as they went through 1 and 2. they're going to continue to battle, and you can see Ross Chastain in the 12, who is some 22 laps down, but, you know, wasn't involved in any kind of accident that brought out a caution, so we don't view that as being on the caution clock per se. I mean, yeah, he's 22 laps down, but he's allowed to continue on in this race. Is actually Helio Castroneves is the first driver on pit road. It's actually, no, he was on pit road for the last 16 minutes, so never mind. He's going to be slow in front of both of the leaders, and we're going to see how they play around with this. And they're going to manage to split him, or go 3 wide with him. But it did, in fact, hurt Cole Custer a little. Cole Custer got stuck behind Castroneves for a moment. And now Castroneves, who's going to be on fresh tires, is going to maybe cause a little bit of problems for Cole Custer. And even possibly Denny Hamlin now. Because, again, you've got those fresh tires. He's going to really be a lot faster. Reddick now only 1.2 seconds back. And with the draft from Ross Chastain, that was kind of what I was getting at, even though he's many laps down. Reddick's been drafting off of Chastain for quite a few laps now. And that's kind of a big deal because it's brought him to being within this 1.5-second gap that he now is of Custer and Denny Hamlin. Hamlin really struggling, battling with Helio Castroneves. And I mean, this isn't a battle for any form of position, realistically, other than it hurting Denny Hamlin. Custer now utilizes this to his advantage and actually gets around Denny Hamlin as Tyler Reddick brings his number 48 Chevrolet to pit road. He's the first driver on that strategy. Now, of course, we will see how this will play out and how far ahead of Denny Hamlin he will end up when Denny Hamlin ultimately pits in about 20 laps. Ty Gibbs also on pit road with Tyler Reddick. So both drivers on pit road. They will, of course, go a lap down. Martin Truex Jr. just hit pit road as well, along with Joey Logano and Landon Castle. So we're starting to see that contingent of older tire drivers now hitting pit road. This is going to leave Alex Bowman, Ty Dillon, Eric Almirola, and Ryan Truex still on track, still running, and we'll likely see them pit probably this time. And we will. Bowman is in, Ty Dillon is in, Almirola, and Ryan Truex. So all of those guys are in. So now Cole Custer leads this race over Denny Hamlin. And we're closing in on just 50 to go in this race. Only a handful of laps till that point. And you see Denny Hamlin and Cole Custer battling with lap traffic. The lap traffic on fresh tires really giving Denny Hamlin a problem. And I'm sure at some point they're going to start giving Cole Custer a problem. Now again, the big key here will be who is going to cycle through on the fresh tires to actually lead this group. We assume it'll be Tyler Reddick, although it is a battle between Kurt Busch and Tyler Reddick. So somebody I didn't think about, and he had a fantastic pit stop, and is probably why Kurt Busch is still in this race. He obviously didn't go anywhere. I just kind of disregarded and forgot that he was running halfway decent. So Kurt Busch driving the number 5 for Hendrick Motorsports. Still in this with Tyler Reddick. And they're both well clear, some 3 seconds ahead of Joey Logano. So they're going to battle with one another. But even while they're battling, they're running 30.0s. Cole Custer in the lead is a 31.5. So there is a large gap between these guys time-wise. And we'll have to see how it plays out, as now Denny Hamlin utilizes the pick of Bubba Wallace. So maybe a little bit of TM orders, if you would. Not actually, but, you know, just kind of one of those things that we like to say over here. But Bubba Wallace managed to be used as a pick by Denny Hamlin for Denny Hamlin to get back around Cole Custer. The AI, obviously, they don't know who their teammates are. That is an arbitrary thing that I have written down that, hey, this guy's teammate, and you know, all of this stuff, and that's why they get certain paint schemes and all that. But I'm telling you right now, the AI Bubba Wallace doesn't know that he is teammates with the AI Denny Hamlin. They don't know that. That'd be kind of cool if you could get that coded in. If iRacing could ever get something like that coded in, that would be really cool. Do I see it happening? Probably not. I wouldn't see it as something that would be on their priority list. Of course, we'll have to, like I said, see how Tyler Reddick and Kurt Busch will do in comparison to Denny Hamlin. Now, of course, they're going to try and close whatever gap up they can. If they could even unlap themselves before Denny and Cole pit, that would be epic for them as well. They're actually not too far back, but they continue to battle themselves. So they almost, and this is one of those things, like the AI takes into account certain things and they race certain ways. They don't take into account the fact that they are hurting themselves by battling, and that as to teammates, and maybe that would be something that you would see if we ever got a teammate build implemented or something where you could label drivers onto a certain team, like they have in NASCAR essentially, that maybe they race around their teammate a little bit differently and they might follow in certain situations and whatnot. But you can kind of see that they were battling and it was hurting them in the fact that they were running somewhat slower lap times in comparison to some of the other drivers on absolute fresh tires, like Alex Bowman. So that's one of those things that you have to worry about when you start running these kind of laps. And actually, they're already falling off well enough that they're almost running near identical lap times to Denny Hamlin and Cole Custer. Actually, no, they're not. I apologize. They are still a second faster than Cole Custer and Denny Hamlin. I looked at that completely wrong. No, they are fully a second ahead, faster currently than Cole Custer and Denny Hamlin. So Reddick and Kurt Busch continue their battle. Bowman, who is actually faster than both of them, he's on a handful of lap fresher tires than the both of them. He's closing on them. I don't know when he'll catch them. I'm pretty sure at this point he will catch them. And we might see Alex Bowman throwing his hat into something. But Cole Custer continues his battle with Denny Hamlin as they lead Ricky Stenhouse by quite a ways. And Stenhouse and Justin Haley having to deal with Chase Elliott. And you can see behind them trying to unlap themselves, trying to get as much ground as they can and put themselves into a good position with Denny Hamlin, closing on them essentially in the final stage or after pit stops. That you got Tyler Reddick and Kurt Busch trying to catch up to Haley and Stenhouse and Chase Elliott, and then hopefully they want to get around them. They want to be either back on the lead lap or as close to the lead lap as they can be when Denny Hamlin decides to hit pit road. And that's not that long away. Denny Hamlin and Cole Custer both on lap 59 of their, or 58 of their stint. And that puts them, roughly about probably, I'd say 7 or 8 laps away from pitting. I think all of the guys that pitted back here, Reddick and company, They were all about 65 laps into the stint or so. As you can see, Stenhouse really trying to run his line. He's just trying to do his own thing. Ended up costing Tyler Reddick, it looks like, maybe the position to Kurt Busch. But Kurt Busch will actually hold steady on the outside. And we'll see if Tyler Reddick isn't able to get to the inside of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Sorry. Yeah, Stenhouse. And he's not. He's actually kind of struggling behind him a little bit right now. As he's basically being held up and running the exact same lines. He's not really able to find his way around Stenhouse, and you wonder if we aren't close to where the tires kind of evened off. It looks like he might still be able, or he's finally going to get a run on Stenhouse as he looks to the inside of him. And we don't see, I believe it was, what happened to Truex? Truex is towed at some point. So we try and find what happened to Martin Truex Jr. We're going to do this the easy way. So not quite sure what happened to Martin Truex Jr. This was the last lap he ran. He just comes to pit road and, okay, calls it a day. So we are seeing now Denny Hamlin on pit road, Cole Custer on pit road. And Cole Custer didn't make his pit box. Cole Custer missed his pit box. So an incredible turn of events. Cole Custer will have to come back down pit road. Denny Hamlin, with only a 9.6 second pit stop, I have to question whether or not they packed that car full of fuel. So an incredible turn of events in this race. I'm not sure that Denny has enough fuel, and I'm not sure that Cole Custer, absolutely, yeah, he's back on pit road. So it's a big question now on, and Denny is 28 seconds behind Stenhouse. Now, of course, this actually does put him further back, I think, or Stenhouse is on pit road, okay. So we're going to see now where Reddick and Stenhouse is now leading. So Reddick is going to take over the lead, and by a decent gap, almost a second gap on Kurt Busch. He's going to have the lead with ease. Cole Custer rolls back through, but now absolutely going to be stuck a lap down. Stenhouse now is questioning where he comes out in relation to Denny Hamlin. And you can see Hamlin just behind him here in this group. And he does come out in front of Hamlin, but isn't up to speed at this point. So Hamlin will clear through around him. Hamlin is running 8th on much fresher tires. And he's only 7 seconds back. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But again, Hamlin had a 9.6 second pit stop. I mean, he only needs enough fuel for 40-some laps. But I think that's got to be more than 9.6, right? Like, that's got to be at least a 10 or 11, maybe even a 12-second pit stop. You almost question if he's going to be able to make it on gas. Certainly, he's going to be the fastest car out here. But Stenhouse, able to have a great pit stop. He spent a lot less time. 38.1 on pit road was all he spent on pit road to Hamlin's 41.2. Stenhouse is now going to challenge Hamlin. So if these guys start going at it, they'll put extra wear on their tires. And that's what Reddick and Kurt Busch want to see. Reddick currently in the absolute driver's seat at the moment. He is, obviously, he can make it to the end. He's just got to hope that the tires even out before Denny Hamlin is able to get to him. We saw the tires even out about 20 laps in. So the problem here is Denny Hamlin's only about 5 laps in. He's already only 5 seconds back. So we'll have to see how it'll play out. Denny is running a 30.8 to Reddick's 31.4. And it's going to be huge because Reddick is having to deal with lap traffic. Cars around him that are on newer tires than he is. Actually, Chase Elliott's on much older tires. But he's going to let him go along with the 40. And this is going to hurt him because of where he ran that line. So he now loses almost a full second to Denny Hamlin. The problem is you see what's around Denny Hamlin, and he's in just as much of a gaggle of cars, and even more so, these are all for position. This whole group around them is for position. So the longer that Stenhouse and Hamlin get stuck battling back here with Castle and Ty and Logano and company, and you see Hamlin getting stuck behind Castle. Stenhouse with an incredible move to get around Ty Gibbs. So Stenhouse goes through to 4th, and he's now looking to the inside of Bowman. Really tried to utilize a great run that he had to get around not just Ty Gibbs, but Alex Bowman, and he will. He's utilizing those fresh tires excellently. So Ricky Stenhouse Jr. now in arguably the best position, as Hamlin's kind of been stuck behind some of the slower cars back here. At least the older tire runners. Of course, we'll have to wait and see how the gap closes. Stenhouse now only 3 seconds back. And again, if Reddick keeps getting put into bad situations where he's stuck running the high side, he's going to give up more and more time. And he needs to make it at least another 10 laps before we think, and there's no guarantee that they will, but we think the tires even off timing-wise. Reddick is running a 31.4 still. Stenhouse is a 31.2 that last lap. So we'll see now that Stenhouse has a little bit more clean track. He's not dealing with trying to get around Alex Bowman and everybody else that he was just trying to deal with. We'll see what he can do now that he's kind of clear of that group. It's not looking good for Denny Hamlin, who's really kind of dominated this race. He's been held up by Ty Gibbs, his team, or his Pusoto, however you pronounce it. But his essential teammate in Ty Gibbs driving for Joe Gibbs. We think the 23XI stuff is pretty much prepared by Joe Gibbs Racing, so we expect that to basically be teammates, per se. But he kind of got stuck back there behind them, and he's still battling with Landon Castle. Stenhouse is gone from Denny Hamlin. I mean, he is gone from him. Now, Kurt Busch and Reddick are going to start battling here soon. Stenhouse is by himself and certainly running faster. These guys are going to go at it for the win, and they're going to let Stenhouse, who's going to have much fresher tires than them, get involved in this. I mean, I can't blame them for going at it for the win, but it's one of those things where it's like, boy, you think maybe you just kind of want to ride for another 10 laps. As we get 25 to go in this race. This one absolutely has been one of our best races of the season. We have, at this time, 38 cars still running. Of that, 23 of them are on the lead lap. So absolutely fantastic race as Kurt Busch gets around Tyler Reddick. Reddick trying to translate pole position into a win. Kurt Busch trying to translate getting a really great race car into a win. And Ricky Stenhouse trying to translate what may be the correct pit strategy into getting a win. But even running by himself, now he didn't have to pass anybody. Stenhouse just ran a 31.6. Hamlin was a 31.4 behind all these guys. But you wonder if maybe the tires aren't starting to even off, and with nobody around him, maybe Stenhouse is now kind of running, and he is. His last lap was a 31.8 to Kurt Busch's 31.6. So he's absolutely running a bit slower than not just Kurt Busch and Tyler Reddick, but Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin behind him. And I'm not sure what was causing it, because I didn't see anything really there for that to cause it. But he is absolutely off pace-ish from what you expect of a driver on fresh tires. So maybe it wasn't 20 laps for the even up. Maybe it's around 15. I'm not certain on that. But it is Kurt Busch who leads over Tyler Reddick, and that gap is close enough that Reddick is still going to have a fight in this. And personally, if I'm the two of them, I don't know that I want to fight too much this early and basically give Stenhouse a way back into this race, because your tires seem to be evening out. But they are going to go at it, and they're going to stay side by side for longer than I definitely would want to. Stenhouse there's no traffic between the groups, as now Kurt Busch will fire back on the outside, and these two remain battling side by side. Kurt Busch does look to clear Reddick down into one, so they'll have that. They are coming up on lap traffic, and of course lap traffic could always play so many different keys. Another problem that we've seen is Denny Hamlin being stuck back in traffic. He's had fresh tires, but it's taken him so long to get through the traffic that was in front of him on older tires that he wasn't able to really take advantage of his fresh tires too much. So a huge change in this race that very well could be caused by the car itself. The package in this car is so racy in terms of pack racing and so reliant on the draft that you end up in these situations where, you get into the spot where guys like Ricky Stenhouse and Denny Hamlin, who are on fresh tires, kind of get stuck running with the older tires guys because of how much the draft plays into things. Reddick now almost 0.6 of a second gap that he just opened up over Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch ran the absolute high line, and it didn't work. That's what I kept saying earlier on about that move, was that you get all the way up into that third line where the marbles kind of used to be. They actually ran up there, cleaned some of them off, and managed to do away with them, essentially. And it's not as bad as it was at the start of the race, but you still don't want to go up there and run that line. That line has not been fast. The way that they try and run off that line, it just isn't a fast line. Now, obviously, like we said, dealing with lap traffic here, Kurt Busch to the inside of Austin Dillon, and Tyler Reddick kind of runs the same line that we've seen out of all the guys that lead. They kind of come in middle line and try to dive the car down to the absolute inside. Now, like we said, here's lap traffic. Austin Dillon putting up a fight. We're in this lead battle, and the lap traffic, they don't care. It's the AI. There's no, oh, well, he's one of the lead lap guys, I'm just going to let him go kind of thing. It's, I have a run, and I'm going to take it. There's not really blue flags, and I can't, hand out blue flags. It's not something that you get here in AI, and I doubt they'd respect him anyway. So Kurt Busch and Tyler Reddick absolutely gone at this point from Ricky Stenhouse. Stenhouse now having to deal with Denny Hamlin, who's behind him. But, the gap at this point is 3 seconds between Stenhouse and Hamlin. And Stenhouse absolutely just seemed like he hit a brick wall at a certain point and the tires were gone. Hamlin may still have something to say in this, possibly if his car is good enough. We just don't know if that's the case. He's got to get around Stenhouse first, and that's going to be enough of a challenge. And if he messes this up, you can see Alex Bowman looking to fire around his outside, Eric Almirola as well, Joey Logano. So fresh tires. Justin Haley's only managed to mount to 10th place. Eric Jones, Marco Andretti, Kyle Busch, Harrison Burton, Brad Keselowski, all on fresh tires. All stuck mired deep, not able to gain anything. So now Kurt Busch and Tyler Reddick have cleared the lap traffic. The two of them are free to go at one another again. And, Hendrick Motorsports isn't going to give them team orders other than to say maybe don't wreck one another. But we're going to see if Kurt Busch can't get around Tyler Reddick to win this race. Tyler Reddick trying to hold on, like we said, from the pole, win the race. And the pit strategy of fresher tires, it just hasn't amounted. It hasn't been there. I'm not sure what happened. And I believe it was that the tires equaled out. And you see it on iRacing, even in normal races, human races, if you would, that the tires will even out at a certain point. Now, Custer, looking to the inside, he's one of those fresher tire guys. He's actually firing the car to the inside of Kurt Busch and putting him into a bad spot. And this is going to open the door for Tyler Reddick to just kind of run away with it. Kurt Busch really not in a position he wants to be in, having to run the outside line here against Cody Ware of all drivers. And Cody Ware is also one of those guys on the fresher tires. So Reddick now possibly going to be under threat from Cole Custer, who's trying to get his lap back. And if Kurt times this right, he might be able to use Cole Custer if Custer decides to try to make a pass or something. But Kurt's actually getting a great run. He runs the middle line, really trying to build momentum, it seems like. And Custer cuts him, takes his line away. And Kurt Busch will now look to his inside. So now with 9 laps to go in this race, Hamlin is clear of Stenhouse. Hamlin has a chance to maybe do something, although he is dealing with his own form of lap traffic. Chase Elliott is on fresher tires than he is, so he should, in theory, be faster. But if Chase Elliott has damage, well, then that certainly won't help. Reddick and Busch going at it now with 8 laps to go. Busch sends it in on the inside. Reddick holds steady on the outside. They manage to hold position, and Kurt Busch does get the lead. But Reddick holds steady with his gap. He's still here with a challenge, essentially. Reddick sends it in deep, looks to the outside, finds nothing there, and is now going to lose time, and is now going to be under threat from Cole Custer to try to get around him. Custer, trying to get his lap back the hard way, is kind of putting himself in between a fantastic lead battle. Although he hasn't done so yet, the gap is 0.3 of a second with 7 to go. Kurt Busch trying to become the winner here today. Cole Custer just trying to get a lap back. But Tyler Reddick battling with his teammate. Reddick obviously had the best car in qualifying, took the pole. He's got a fantastic race car. Both of these drivers do. They both drive for Hendrick Motorsports. So both are trying to pick up a win. Kurt Busch trying to pick up his first win. And because this is technically the beginning of 2022, Tyler Reddick's looking for his first career win at this point. Obviously, if you want to get technical, this is a Nightmare Sim Series. Everybody's looking for their first win in this. But in realistic, this is the beginning of 2022. Reddick's trying to win his first career race. That's what this means to Tyler Reddick. Obviously, with it being the AI, It really doesn't actually mean anything like that. But that's kind of the storyline we'll go with. Is Reddick's really trying to fight hard to win this race? It's absolutely his first. It would be his first career win here in the Cup Series. And Kurt Busch, and I don't know how for even a moment I forgot this. Kurt Busch, this is his home race. How do you not want to win your home race? So we're here at Vegas. There's a lot on the line for both Reddick and Kurt Busch. And they found a lot of lap traffic here with just 4 laps to go. Cindric, BJ McLeod, and I believe that's Corey LaJoie. So actually the last couple guys on the lead lap, so they're going to put up a fight. These guys aren't going to let them through with any kind of ease, really. Reddick now stuck behind BJ McLeod. Kurt Busch stuck behind Austin Cindric. They're trying to figure out which line's the best as Reddick really gets in close to BJ McLeod, holding on that inside line. Kurt Busch is going to clear to the lead with just 3 laps to go. And of course, still more lap traffic ahead. Cindric's going to try to get around Corey LaJoie, and both Reddick and Kurt Busch are going to try to utilize Cindric's pass of LaJoie to help themselves out. Really helped out Kurt Busch, who's able to clear LaJoie. Reddick wasn't able to, and now with just 2 laps to go, Kurt Busch is going to put himself in a fantastic position to win this race, as he's now 2 lapped cars clear of Tyler Reddick. So Kurt Busch in an incredible position here as we come to the end of this thing. Absolutely with a good chance, 0.3 of a second he's going to have. Almost 0.4 of a second coming to the line as Reddick is still battling side by side with Austin Cindric. And Kurt Busch at this point is gone. Kurt Busch has walked away with it at the end. Lap traffic does play a huge factor, and we said it could throughout the race, and it does at the end. Kurt Busch is able to open up a large enough gap over Tyler Reddick thanks to lap traffic. Kurt Busch is going to win the Pennzoil 400 presented by JiffyLube at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Kurt Busch is the hometown hero and winner here today. So an incredible job by Kurt Busch as they come across the line. Continuing to finish, and we'll start to roll here as they finish up. We'll get this off, and roll this around on the bottom. So Kurt Busch, your winner here today. We'll actually take it back, and as we do each and every race, try and get him at the line. There we go. Maybe a different camera. Try and find a really good camera here. Oh. You know what? I think this will be a good camera for this. Perfect. There we go. That's the camera shot we want. So your winner here today, Kurt Busch in the Monster Energy number 5 for Hendrick Motorsports. Tyler Reddick would come home second. Denny Hamlin third. Eric Almirola holds on for 4th place. Joey Logano 5th. Alex Bowman 6th. Ty Gibbs 7th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finishes 8th. Landon Castle in 9th. 10th place is Justin Haley. 11th place was Ryan Truex. 12th place Ty Dillon. 13th for Michael McDowell. 14th for Todd Gilliland. 15th is Eric Jones. 16th Kyle Busch. 17th Marco Andretti. In 18th we saw Harrison Burton. 19th Brad Keselowski. The first car a lap down was Austin Cindric. He was running 20th. Cole Custer in 21st. Corey LaJoie finishes 22nd. Cody Ware in 23rd. And Chase Briscoe comes home 24th. Daniel Hemrick finishes 25th. Kaz Gralla 26th. Kevin Harvick 27th. Austin Dillon 28th. Chase Elliott 29th. Kyle Larson 30th. In 31st was Daniel Suarez, and BJ McLeod finishes 32nd. Ryan Preece was 33rd, and Tony Kanaan 34th. 35th saw William Byron finish there, and 36th was Bubba Wallace. Ross Chastain comes home 37th, and Elio Castroneves, the final car running, was 38th. Martin Truex Jr. with DNF, 39th, and Danny Kvyat DNF'd, finishing 40th, only completing 128 laps today. So, Kurt Busch wins. We find out the tire strategy really played a huge role in this race. We thought maybe Denny Hamlin would be able to factor a little bit more in on the fresh tires at the end, but honestly just didn't have enough at the end. He really kind of got mired in traffic, whatever it was. He did put in enough fuel to get to the end. And I wonder, with a 9.6 second stop, if he actually had to have put tires on. I'm in shock that they made a 9.6 second stop and put 4 tires on that car. That is incredible to me. So absolutely fantastic race, in my opinion. Kurt Busch, your winner, locks himself currently into the chase. If we get 16 different winners, that could be a whole different story. But as of right now, we've had 4 different winners in 4 races. So we'll have to see how things play out. But Kurt Busch wins here at Las Vegas, and a fantastic finish. We look forward to seeing you all here for Auto Club next, hopefully tomorrow. That's what we're shooting for that race. And yeah, we'll see you then. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, give us a follow. If you enjoyed it, give us a follow. Come back next time, and thank you guys for coming out and seeing this race. Again, long gone, I assume, at this point, but Rents the Fence. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the raid. Awesome, incredible. I didn't notice it at first, but thank you for that. That was awesome. Really incredible there from you. So awesome day today. Thank you guys for coming out and joining us for the 4th race of the season. Kurt Busch, your winner. And the Nightmare Sim series comes to a close here today.